We're good. We should start the podcast just because I know
Let's
you don't
start the
have infinite
podcast.
time, and I just want to. Yeah.
No, I think that's got a lot of meat to it.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
we can start
yeah.
with that. Okay, here goes. In 3, 2, 1, action. Sorry.
Showtime.
A little bit of showtime. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Economy of Nothing podcast. I'm your host, Mike Allen, the man, the myth, the legend, aka Mr. Green. Followed by my co-host here today, Mike Bedont, aka the Kanye West of cartooning, aka the original Captain Tracy. Mike, say hello.
Hello. Like, subscribe, share, review. Do whatever you gotta do.
You got it. Let's go. Anyways, on this week's episode of the Economy of Nothing, we're going to talk about Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Paramount, and how that's going to affect Hollywood, and what Mike Bedont, Captain Tracy, Mr. Green, and Mike Allen's thoughts are on the matter. We're also going to go back over producer notes of last week's episode, and then we will move on to Catan, the world's most exciting board game to play with your friends and also ruin friendships. The last thing we're going to talk about, especially in the Economy of Nothing, is Ocean's 14, beginning filming in 2026. Really would like to know what that has to do with a certain conspiracy theory that's been circling around. Mike, aka Captain, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and talk about last week's Economy of Nothing episode of the podcast. Also, like, subscribe, share, and review. Thank you all viewers for listening. We love you so much. Also, donate to our Patreon. Go to theeconomyofnothing.com.
Listening. Thank the viewers for listening, Mike. I commended your hosting ability earlier, and I'd like to take that back, sir. I would say nay. I say nay, sir.
So I just assume everybody watches the live visual radio of what you put out there the same way I do. It's
this
like,
is an
like
audio
on my phone as I'm on a walk.
This is an audio podcast, Mike. Why would anyone even look at this? This is an audio podcast. I can't even see myself right now.
Well, it's funny you say that, dear listener. But if you'd like to see us, you can go to patreon.com and watch the live takes of this podcast, of the process of creation and the mythical, magical AI that Mike Bedont uses to put together this great podcast of all of us.
Well, first of all,
I forgot about the merch shop. You can get a tank top there, Mr. Green on it. I highly recommend it.
Mike does highly, but Mike, not to break cartoon kayfabe here. I meant to give this shirt to you when you came to visit. I meant
to take it. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I really my plan was to wear it on the podcast moving forward, but I totally forgot to.
Yeah, it's too big. The sizes seem to run a little big there at T Public, but hey, buy one.
It's T Public.
Buy one of buy one of each. Yeah, but we don't get a big cut. So what do you want me to tell you?
You mostly have a cool shirt.
Well, what I can tell you is, speaking of like, it's like, oh, this is AI or whatever. Yeah, look at our AI slop. Remember, Mike? I even remember that comment. I remember all the comments. But no, something about AI. I did use AI for the sentence I was saying before this. Before when we were talking about something, just a minute ago. Mike, hello.
Yeah, sorry, you lost me. When you talk, I just get so tired. No, anyways.
This is so rude. This is a rude podcast.
Let's get no more about AI. Right now, it's kind of sour on people's tongues. So let's just move on. Not really, honestly. NVIDIA,
it's probably still. I think it's still kicking.
It's still popping off.
They don't have anything else, as I've said before. What else they can?
They gotta make it work.
Yeah,
they gotta make it work, baby. The Economy of Nothing.
They're gonna.
Honestly, the Economy of Nothing theme song that we originally created. One of the lyrics in it is "The economy of nothing, we win with all our might." And I used to think that was about our characters, Mr. Green and Captain Tracy. But I'm starting to think it's about the Nothing Corp.
What are you gonna do about it? Yeah.
We will make our earnings no matter what, even if it affects the lives of thousands to millions. And we
Well,
don't care if the price of food is 30% higher than it was 5 years ago because we don't even know what it costs to purchase anything because we haven't looked at our bank accounts in years.
y-
And we also use credit for everything.
yeah, man. Like I tell you what, there. It's funny. There's like this Tyler Perry movie that I can't possibly know what it is, but there's a line in it where like the one comes and it's like, "You don't even know what a gallon of milk costs," and I was like, "Man, Tyler Perry used to know it, man." No, I don't know. Maybe Tyler Perry's great, but no, I just think of that line all the time, right? Yeah, like how would you know what I mean? Just charge whatever for milk. I was thinking of something earlier. I'm literally gonna look at it because it's so relevant to what the hell we were just talking about. But it's about like the way that they're like totally squeezing the shit out of you. Do you know what I mean? It's like
I
this
feel like a
opt
lemon or a lime just getting taken advantage of, you know.
yeah, like oh Mike, you want to know why? Because I couldn't believe for the love of God that a man who has a podcast called The Economy of Nothing and was forced to buy like a new fucking washer isn't pitching about it on the podcast he has.
I didn't know Mike Bedont has this. Mike Bedont has this whole thing. Sometimes he really likes to talk about a topic that we've talked about off the podcast, but more often than not, he doesn't want to try to reinvent the wheel. But I think we'll do it today. So earlier today, I went on a trip to the mountains last week, and I came back to my house, and I have a washer, clothes washer upstairs. I've had for about 4 or 5 years, and it's G. It's pretty good. Um, until I learned that the
Why
average
was it?
washer's lifespan is only max 5 years, and all of a sudden, it's leaking water. But it's not leaking water from the places like you might think, from like the water hoses or the the water drain. Checked all that. None of it's clogged or anything. It's just some seal at the bottom of it that's broke. And I go to call a repair guy. I end up talking. I do some quoting. I end up hearing what it is that what could possibly happen. And basically, if a repair guy comes and fixes it, he's going to charge me like 100 to 150 bucks to come out. To then also buy the part and then charge me parts and labor to fix it. It doesn't matter if it's like the easiest part of the world. It's
Yeah.
still minimum another 150 bucks. So that's 300 bucks. So I'm just like, capitalism wants me to consume, consume, consume. So I go to Lowe's and it's just like, oh, I can buy a brand new one for 500 that's on sale. But here's the reason why I bought the brand new one is because I would just be left with a 5-year-old washer that I paid $300 for someone to change the seal on. That is something else is probably going to break in like another month or two, and I'm right back to where I started. It honestly, I would, and then I think to myself, I go to Lowe's.com and you pay for the haul away. So what they do is they take
Well,
your
Mike,
stuff,
can I?
haul it away, and for like 49 bucks, and I think they just fix it and sell it to us again. That's honestly what I think probably
Yes,
happens.
Mike. It's well, like here's the thing, right? Is like it's a circular system, and the only points that the money leave it are like coming like from you, and that like, do you know what I mean? It's just like optimized capitalism where like everyone knows like it starts with like the manufacturer of the washer, right? They used to make like a washer that lasted longer, and then they like did the math and were like well, like because like things got cheaper to make, so they were like, oh, we make this cheaper thing, and it doesn't last as long, but we're selling more of them. So they start making cheaper and cheaper shit, and they can sell it for less, but they're selling it to you for more. They're making more money. They're not making it out of thin air. This stuff they're telling you is less expensive is more expensive, right? Like they're like, in like the '80s, video games were like
$50.
$80, and now they're $60, whatever. And with inflation, that means it's even more than it is. And it's like No, man, because there wasn't a yearly fucking Call of Duty and shit. Like, do you know what I mean? With
Dude.
microtransactions,
Well,
like,
yeah, and first off, let's like back then, your purchasing power on $1 for a 60 or $50 video game, dude. I remember $50 being hard to get. Like, I mean, I did lemonade stands and slushy stands for
yes,
like to get an N64 game, and I
but a
felt like
video
I had to
game,
sell these 50 things,
but
yeah,
a
to get like
video
5 of
game, like the thing that inflation is missing in this transaction is that a video game was a more premium product back then.
it was,
Right? So
it was,
there's
yeah.
an inverse, that's just like the inverse value of like proliferation or something, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
now video games are free on your phone and all this kind of stuff. So like a 60 it's just not, it's not the same, right? Like like whereas like yeah, a fridge is less expensive now, but a fridge is just like also like pretty much a staple of like modern American life, right? Like it's not like, oh
You know
no,
what? I
it's not our fridge broke, so we'll use our ice box. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, no, this is it. We don't have a place to put our salted fucking meats. We've been chammed into human fucking cubicles, right? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what the economy of nothing today feels like to me is that your best chance at making it, and when I say economy of nothing, I mean the real world economy. Your best chance at making it out of the system, if you really think about it, as just a normal everyday retail investor guy, it came from no like prestigious background. Your best chance is that your business survives long enough. Like if you start your own business, that your business survives long enough so that you can eventually go on Shark Tank and pitch it.
yeah, well, you know, and I think
I
it's
just don't
always
think that's how. I don't think that's
no.
how Henry Ford created the
I
automobile.
I
You know,
think
it just doesn't
it's
feel like the same thing.
I think it's always been like wildly anecdotal, right? It's always been like this guy's successful for these reasons and this guy for this reasons and yada yada, right? And it's hard to like really pin it down. But I think what's
Hmm.
happening right now is like in previous generations, the overall tide was moving up. So as people were like, well, that guy must have worked really hard to get what he's doing, right? It's now
Hmm.
so obvious to us when like our peer, like someone who's like your peer is doing so much better than you. And they're like, well, that guy is like, no, he just didn't. Like, I think, you know what I mean? Like, you're nah, like, we had Facebook. I know he wasn't doing, like, I know, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like I don't know, there's something, and even if that weren't true, like the trend is down, so like everyone's feeling it, so the outliers look more like the outliers they are as opposed to like the people who hit it. Like the odds of the American dream lottery are lower than they've ever been or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest with you. No idea where we're at. I think we're going to talk about producer notes for the show. Like,
did
where
that
did we?
did that not
I
make
don't know
sense?
where we just went. Yeah, I
Are you
sorry,
not? But you're
listeners.
with me though. No,
I was until
here's what's
something
great.
just happened, and I don't remember what we were talking about.
Here's what's great. When you hear it back in 6 years, it'll make sense. But I had a
Dude,
I had a
what
great
happens is my ADD medication is fading
I
off
think.
around 10
Well,
o'clock.
what I was gonna say is as the transition was like, I don't know. This conversation's been weird and not very like SEO or grabby or whatever, which is why we do chapters below, so you can just click to like the thing that's popular.
I
But
do think, let me just say something that I think is funny for all the listeners out there. I have multiple occasions been blown away at re-listening to the show on, YouTube or something. Um, and I'm the dude that's talking in the show. And I'm like, man, what I just said was very profound or super stupid. It's one of the
wow,
two.
well, yes,
And
like
like, but
that's
I
one
don't
of
remember any of it. Like, I'm just like, wow, man. Like, I'm really just
dude.
coming to this
You
thing
want to
so
know
half
what's
cocked.
you want to know what's really like a real nerve wracking part as we get into like the background real quick, which is usually Patreon stuff, but like whatever. The it's so like there's a very nerve-wracking thing of like listening back to the podcast, like
Yeah.
being on the podcast and like doing what I'm doing, which is attempting to be like completely and totally engaged in the podcast and not like trying to pay attention. Like I'm trying to have a conversation with you, knowing that we're performing, but I'm not like clicking or
Yeah.
doing any of this stuff. And then to come back and be like, was any of that usable? Would I want to? Because I am not listening to myself as the like technician or whatever, or as like
Yeah,
the
it's gonna be
producer.
weird from your point of view. I always wanted to, like, because you're trying to wait for the setups for your stuff. So you have to, like, when you said a certain concept, probably from a timeline perspective of the show. So you're just waiting for the keyword that lets you start listening to when to do it and when to, like, so then you have to listen to what I'm saying to what you're saying.
So like what I guess I mean is like this weird. Well, no, because I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying not to like think of the show while we're talking right now. I'm trying to like
Yeah, but
just
how do
talk
you,
to you, but
yeah,
like
yeah, but how do you do that? That's hard.
oh well, just because I can't think of that many things at once. But like what that means is that when I go back to listen to it, I only remember the parts of our interactions that like have like an emotional resonance with me. And the only emotional resonance I ever have is like embarrassment. So I only remember like, oh man, I think
About
I said
anger.
I sounded dumb like 2 times. No, that's not. That's a guttural. That's a humanistic reaction. Like, but no. Why are we still? Why are you letting me ramble like this? I wanted to talk about the
Saudi
show.
Arabia
No,
did 9/11.
dude, that's what
I
that.
will never. That was the best clip you've ever done.
No,
Just like
no,
over and over and over again. Like, and you say it with such conviction. It's great.
no
Anyways,
one
let's
wants.
move on.
But
Okay, producer, no. Let's get to a
no.
fucking
So,
topic
so
to
what I
make
was
sense.
trying to say was like, oh, that part where we're boring talking and it doesn't mean anything. A thing that I was thinking about doing is like trying to think of like action scenes we can do that like I could like just like put the podcast to us doing them, and then I was trying to think like what's an interesting place to have a conversation is is like what could they be doing like as opposed to like I want to think of some kind of action they can be doing while they're talking, right? And I was like, I guess it's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something that's not in the studio or in the car where two people could be like sitting around like talking for a while. Maybe like a bar or something.
Well, yeah, bit on the nose, but yeah,
Yeah, right.
bar.
That's not fun, right? Like I'm trying to
Kind of
think of
fun. It's
like
kind of sad. It's kind of
yeah,
sad. Yeah.
like a like a space park. Oh, so
I
this
think it, I think it would have to be an experience based thing. I think people today are all about experiences more than like destinations, because we made COVID made it where we all made our like home our humble abode. Like we all like upgraded our homes to like be more comfortable in it, and then it's like when we do leave our homes, it's usually for something that's more comfortable than your home, like experience wise. Like you're gonna have fun. So like, what's something fun where two people would talk a lot? I don't know, maybe frisbee golf or something, like in the park.
yeah, I'm trying to I guess what I'm trying to think.
I think it has to be kind of like that, but also kind of weird because it
Yeah,
would make it funny.
yeah.
It's
I
like
guess
who's talking like this while playing frisbee golf?
well, you know what, I guess we're kind of looking at it from the wrong angle. Like a thing I want to do is have us like doing the podcast while like running through some sort of like action sequence. And I guess the question is, and this is the dumbest question. I don't know why I'm asking you this question, but I just found it like how long could two people run animated before you were like that's silly amount of time to run? Or do I have to do it to find out? Do I just have to do an
I
episode
think, I
where
think,
it's just the two of us running down a hallway and like I just like see when people stop watching?
yeah. I mean, I think. Well, just try a number. Try like 15 seconds. I want to say 30, but that's probably too long. So like 15, no, 30 seconds, right?
Right?
I honestly don't think it matters either, because I mean, like Archer does it all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fucking robot alien. I don't give like I'm like bio upgraded out the ass. If anything, you might be winded.
Yeah.
I could just keep going. And I think that'd be funny. Maybe we just cut in some stuff of you just being like, hold on. Just
Yeah.
like, or I mean, you could really do some fun stuff there, like whenever you get real yelly and breathy, you know, find those moments to be like, okay, I'm fucking pissed off, like
Yes.
bending down, like maybe if you just know that's what you're gonna do going into it. Maybe you could try to transition that. Maybe try
Right.
to like bring that to what
So
your
that
speech is gonna be
so
about.
that's
Yeah.
something like another thing that we have to think about is like trying some performances at some point to go along with the animations. But I guess what I was thinking of like of just like a visually interesting different thing to be doing than just to have them in the studio. I don't know. I'm trying to think as I'm getting to be like, oh, at some point by the end of this season, the studio is going to be like a locked thing that's only going to take me
Oh,
like a
so
day to do.
what you're telling me is you want a different location where I'm not moving, so you can just have a different location.
So part of the reasons, one of the things that the garage is going to allow us to do is I've kind of built it to have like a bunch of tricks I want to try, and one of them is
hmm
it has an elevator in it in like the mock-up because I want to try like fake infinity background, right? And like the same kind of thing you would use like scrolling behind someone if they were like driving in a car, but like us riding an elevator up and down. It would a place
Can
in
I offer something?
yeah.
Can I offer an idea? Um, Back when the show was literally just us creating the show, we talked about the lobby of the Nothing Corporation and how like Mississippi was like up on that pedestal and there was the elevator.
Okay.
What if it's just like us two in the lobby, but instead like you could do whatever, you could make the lobby whatever you want, but you could have that elevator in the background and occasionally that elevator door opens and like a character from the show could walk onto the screen, maybe go to the water cooler, and then like walk out and like leave. And it'd be a
Right.
cool way for you to introduce like new
So this
characters.
could be this might be hard to visualize here, Mike. You might have to watch this part on the podcast on visual
Yeah.
radio on YouTube.com. Well, why would I tell anyone they're watching it there right now if it's I don't know what's happening. But anyway, like the so like if you think of that garage, it has an elevator shaft. Like there's a front door, like a door to the garage, and straight back is an elevator shaft. That elevator shaft goes up, and then on the opposite side is where the lobby would be. And then the elevator shaft goes all the way up to the top, right?
Yeah.
And so like and that's what like all the dispatches are, and there's at least 69 of them. And at least the
Okay.
dispatches I've decided for right now are like on flat earths.
Flat, like
Like
flat.
flat earths. Like
Yeah. What is that called? A flat circle?
yeah, but like you know how like in the flat earths they like in like weird flat earth theory or whatever like they're like they think that there's like ice walls or whatever, but like we don't bother with that, but like they think that like there's like a cone of like enough mass underneath the flat circle on top that allows for like the gravity to like all work. And so like I think that could be like our
How
weird
does the
sci-fi reason for it.
how does the firmament come into play? Is it gonna be like a
Uh,
flat Earth? Look like a freaking snow globe.
oh, you mean like you? Oh, you think so? Should it be like that, or should it be
Flat
like?
Earths also think flat. They think that not only the Earth is flat, but there's also like I think those are the ones that also believe
So,
Christianity, like flat Earth and Christianity
yeah,
believe that it has a dome over the flat Earth called the
yeah.
firmament, which is like water. I think what they think.
I have no idea, but sure, I guess so. The reason you would have to tell me is because what made me settle on this kind of idea in my head was you talking about a while back how you were thinking about maybe the houses all just like floated in space.
Yeah, yeah, just like
So, so I was thinking we had talked about me, the captain, and you, Mr. Green, maybe having to live in some sort of like condo ass thing or something. Like not we don't have they don't have their own houses, right? And I was like, oh okay.
yeah.
So whatever it is, they live on like some joint planetoidy thing, right? They're not on like a main planet, right?
Would it be funny if, because like there's no in our economy today, there's like a housing shortage, that whenever you come back from the captain comes back from the beach, and the only place we can afford is like a 55 and older community.
That would
Like
be one.
it's just, I just think that'd be funny.
They do, they do. So in that, like, this is weird. I guess this is an episode talking about the cartoon show, right? And
Yeah.
so as I was thinking about, okay, so this brings back in, as I'm thinking about the garage, I'm going to work on an elevator scene, and there's a hallway scene, right? Like those are like, and then the truck obviously landing. Those are like the three entrance places to this garage where anything can happen because there can, in the story, as far as I know, there's at least 69 dispatches, as we said, right? So any story could happen there. So we can come up with anything, and it like just
Yeah.
fucking happened one time on a mission.
Yeah. And I would like to talk about the topics though.
Let's do it.
Because
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
so we
let's
need
do it.
to grab the audience to tag them so they can listen to this front part.
I know.
The
We're gonna
part.
start. We're gonna start with this. This is the first
Okay.
topic of
Yeah.
the show.
Okay. Oh, this is okay. All
It
right.
doesn't have to be, but like probably if people want to listen.
No, I thought you meant like I was about to transition, and that's the first topic.
Oh.
Anyways, okay, so we talked about the garage with Economy of Nothing producer
No,
notes,
pretend
but
like
we
this is
want
the real one. God, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have cut you off. I'm sorry. I'll edit all this out. I won't.
oh, and as you know, listeners, there is a segment on the podcast called Mr. Green's Silver Screen Critiques. It usually plays when we do a full movie review in whatever facet in which we find interesting, and we talk about it within our characters.
unless
Bedont
it's
has
120
a
minutes. Then we're done.
yeah. Mike Bedont has a new pitch for a new show, a new segment of the podcast called Mike. I'll let you say it. It's your pitch.
Mr. Green's Pilot School. And my pitch for the show, Mike, is that we watch the pilots of television shows and comment on them and talk about what they mean for like our show and like other shows in general. I mean, I don't have to pitch the show after I explain the first part. Like it makes sense, right? You understand the idea?
So we're just gonna So we were gonna like comment on like the piece from Castaway when like the pilot's driving that FedEx plane, or like.
Well, so like
Yeah.
you have to watch it, and then I'm gonna like be like a prick student. So like I'm gonna know a lot of stuff about the pilot of that.
So you're just gonna
episode.
ask me questions that I don't know about because I wear a
No,
pilot jacket.
no, it's your fucking class, so you should tell me about this episode. But like, I'm a prick student. So I'm the captain. Why do I have to get my fucking pilot? Like I'm higher ranked. Why am I in this fucking class?
Okay, I get you.
Right, but like
So-
not like super hard, right?
So I have to explain to you
So like
why you have to get this.
the idea is because I think if the show's gonna work on its own and like maybe find an audience somewhere, we have to be able to like tell people who like directed the episodes and stuff, right? Like you can't, you know what I think, and so like one of us has to look it up and you won't look it up, and so then
You're
we
right,
need
I
like
won't.
we need like a narrative reason that for all of this, and so it's Mr. Green's Pilot School, and so it's like so it can be so like the whole thing can be that Mr. Green's an idiot, right? But that's like not super interesting. Mr. Green knows as much as an educated man who watched this episode of this show, right? But like the captain just happens to fucking know more about it. I mean, Mr. Green could maybe as the show progresses, Mr. Green will look up more stuff. Or the captain will get lazy and
I
stop
mean,
looking
I
things
worked
up.
on airplanes for like 4 years, so I might actually surprise you.
Yeah, but you understand that the show's going to be about like television show pilots.
Yes.
Okay.
However,
So like
I don't think there's many television show pilots.
every single television show that's ever existed has a pilot. The first episode of a television show is the pilot.
Oh. Do you want to hear something really stupid?
Yes.
I
The
I
audience
thought
does.
I thought you were talking about like pilots on airplanes.
No. It's a fucking play on words, dude.
Well, I wear a pilot jacket.
I know.
I
Dude,
get that now,
it's a.
but I was just like, is he? I really don't understand why we have to just go. So I'm doing the pilots of all shows that you're going to make me watch,
Yeah,
and I
well,
have to tell you what the show's about
okay.
or who's in it.
Okay, okay. I guess I did have to say more. At the start of the segment when I said, do I have to say more? I did. I'm sorry, but thank you for sharing that with the class. No, okay. So, Mr. Green's Silver Screen Critique is a show about you watching movies, right? And we can keep
Yeah.
doing it, but like, I now, like, I know how to do it. Like, and once I get all the models done and stuff, it will just be a shorter, truncated version of what we're doing. Like, and it'll get better and it'll go places, but it is what it is. And it's only tangentially related to what we're trying to do, which is make a television show. So,
Okay.
taking what we learned from that and like
So
focusing,
am I the Andy Richter of this segment?
I don't know what that means.
Like you know, you're the Pete Davidson. So like in this segment, I'm the butt of the joke. Where in Silver Screen Critique, no one is the butt of the joke. Sometimes you're the butt of the
You
joke.
don't have to be the butt of the joke. But
No,
like,
it's fine. I just
the
no.
joke is that it's Mr. Green's pilot school. And I'm thinking of this joke right now, and it's fucking great.
And it's actually us watching pilots of episodes,
Yeah, pilots of TV
and we
shows.
comment it and
Yeah,
how bad they are.
yes. And then
Okay.
the layer, the layer on top of it, if you want something, like it can either be like that simple. It's just like, it's just them talking. It's just us talking about it, and that's just like a fun title, right? Or
Yeah.
they're in a classroom and we can have like a little more going on. Maybe Mr. Green is like, it's like a, teacher day or whatever, where they're just playing pilots of TV shows. Anyway, we will work on that. That's part of the thing we need to do, which is work on piloting shows. So we piloted the Mr. Green Silver Screen. So we're going to do this. I don't know. I never know if you're listening.
I've checked out. I listened to all that last bit. Yeah. All right. Cool. I like it. We can do it.
But do you understand it?
Let's just say yes.
Okay.
Assume that I did. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, look at that. My son is up, woken up from his slumber to go join his mother in the bed. I can hear him upstairs. Anyways, listeners, economyofnothing.com, patreon.com. Please help.
Please.
Anyway, I want to move on to the next subject here, which should be. We talked about that. Okay, yeah. So, I wanted to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. Apparently, has now rejected 2 bids from Paramount Pictures trying to buy them or merge with them. So and normally I wouldn't. Normally I wouldn't harp on this, but I normally don't really like what Warner Brothers produces as of late. But the one thing that I can give them kudos for is like, thank you for rejecting the bid. Although everybody's got a number and you're just waiting for your number, so like I don't like, they're not like warriors or anything. But like, dude, Paramount is trying to buy these guys and basically own all the original IP for like everything, and then you're gonna have Tom Cruise a part of it, and they're joining Silicon Valley, and
Whoa.
like the dude's dad is Oracle, and I guess that's how they're gonna implement all this AI into Hollywood. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Mike? Is that a good thing
What type
or a
of
bad thing?
4chan website have you been on?
No, but that is true. That's what they've said. That's not my words. That's theirs. The CEO of Oracle, richest man in the world, at one point said his son owns Paramount Skydance, which is he's the director of that.
You see
all the
what
Tom Cruise
you
movies.
see what yes.
Yeah.
See, like that's what happened there. I was gonna say just follow the money, right? There's the money, right? Is like I'm sitting here being like, and that's I think what the actual problem is, that they want a merger and like they want to sell the parts off. But Skydance like came in with like all this like a bunch of fucking private money, right? They had to have, because like Skydance and like Paramount merged, but like Paramount's been like fucking making movies forever, and they owned like South Park and like SpongeBob and a bunch of and the Ninja Turtles and stuff, and like all of a sudden they were like co-partners with like a studio that produced some movies. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in comparison, and like it just seems out of balance. But you see that happen a lot in like recent times, where all of a sudden like the controlling interest of the company that like is the bigger company is like the company that clearly was like shouldn't have been able to. Do you know what I mean?
I think in general, I think everybody's got to compete against Netflix, and I think they're trying to do that efficiently as possible. Also think that they're trying to enrich their pockets even more so, because if they actually are able to do this and get a lot of IP, then they can create. I think their goal is to basically take a $400 million movie and turn it down to like crank it down to like, oh, this cost 10 million to make because we used AI and we fired like. Someone was saying that the Fantastic Four had like 400 to 500, like maybe I think it was more than that. Maybe it was like 3,000 producer credits or something. So it's like that's how many people are getting paid. So they look at it as a way to they want to implement AI, and that's why all the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movies have been about AI as of late, because of who like where the ideas are coming from, and like they want to turn Hollywood into just like a churn and burn content factory, but they say they think they could do it better with generative AI and not pay anyone. It's basically what they're
Well,
trying to do.
what
And Mike, the one thing I can only tell them is they haven't been to a TSO, a Trans-Siberian Orchestra concert with a generative
oh,
AI.
that
Not
was
good, folks. It's not good.
that was terrible. I don't know. Well, there's some Reddit threads. Oof.
Check them out.
But here's the thing, right? When you monopolize the market, you can put out whatever the fuck you want.
It's almost like it's an economy of nothing.
But right, like part of the thing that would like prevent them from being able to put out AI slop is like a competition, right? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if it was like, but like, yeah, I don't know, man.
I know what the problem
What are
is.
they gonna do? Like
You know what it is?
people aren't gonna cancel. I don't
This
think.
is what happens when you don't take antitrust laws seriously. You kill industries.
Yeah, someone tried to explain to me one time about like, well, what happened was they just like they just replaced the monopoly with like vertical integration, but like it's like we'll just if you just turn the chart this way, it's the same fucking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like you know what I mean? Like, I,
Who's your boy that we don't like, but you always just Mike Pence. Mike Pence. I think one of his quotes was like the best type of market for the U.S. was refereed capitalism, which is antitrust.
I mean,
So like
Mike
break up
Pence
the big
is
companies to make them. He also saved us one time.
Mike Pence
Apparently,
is your personal hero. I think, right? Isn't he?
he's not. He's not. It's just like I don't know why I always hear about something Mike Pence has done.
Because like people are constantly trying to like rationalize their own hypocrisies, Mike. Do you know what I mean? Like why because they need a good conservative to exist, right? So like so
I
like
guess.
the
Yeah.
guy the guy that like bootlicked as long as like humanly possible and then probably just didn't do it because he thought the legal risk to himself was too high, right? Like because like if he had done it, it probably wouldn't have worked that time, and then like Trump would have thrown him under the bus and he would have like been the one guy that went to jail or whatever, right? Like do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's all pretty bad. But anyways,
Listen, I'm
anyway,
rambling tonight. You know, you got me
yeah, I'm
going.
rambling. We'll move on. Let's just hit the last one. We'll skip the Netflix Catan thing. You know, not all topics have a place on the show every time. And you would know that if you
Especially,
were on the Patreon. If you join the Patreon, you could see the process. It's a lot like 6 days to air on how we come up with the stuff to talk about,
yes.
and it's usually last minute. And
Well,
I
I'm
assume
not gonna be able to
2020.
cut much of this. This is gonna be a tight hour. This is gonna be.
God. Well, all right.
No, I'm just kidding, Mike. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Continue. It's fine. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ruin your flow. Though I do ruin your flow every week, and this is how stuff goes,
This
right?
is why we only have like 77 subscribers,
Like,
which we appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Mike,
Um,
you're a fool. By the time this goes out, that number will have
we'll have
soared.
79
Well,
subscribers.
you don't believe it, but
Anyways,
up and
so
to the right.
it's up and to the right. So I ran across an article today called Ocean's 14 is beginning filming in 2026. Now, before we go into that, I would like to just say that I am a fan of the Ocean's movies. I think some are better than others. However, the point I bring this article up is that what's crazy is that someone brought up like as a joke was like, do you mean to tell me that all these heist movies like Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13 and now Ocean's 14 were just propaganda to get us to be like, you guys can't steal any of this stuff? And there was like a huge robbery at the Louvre in like France, I think. Isn't that where the Louvre
The
is?
Louvre,
And
yeah,
they stole like some king jewels or something, like a priceless shit. All with
yeah,
like somebody left like one of those like ladder cars to the upper window,
yeah.
and like they know for certain that it was stolen because like a couple pieces were damaged and fell, like a huge crown with a bunch of jewels on it. It just goes to show you,
Well,
it's not as hard as everybody thinks it is.
yeah. Well,
There's no lasers.
yeah. I mean, definitely, right? Like I think. I mean, the real thing is you couldn't get away with it, right? Getting away with it is the trick, right? Like
Apparently, they're chopping them up for the black market. They haven't found them.
which is interesting because like in Ocean's 11, like that's that's kind of the scene. They're talking to the guy by the pool while he's in his bathrobe, and it's like, yeah, you can get out. He's like, this guy got almost to the door. This guy got close to the door. The other guy got out front, and then they shot him. Right? You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm like, this might sound rude, but I mean, did they hurt anyone?
No.
Good on them,
No
man.
one
Like, I
cares.
mean, like,
No, like
fuck,
I'm not mad at him. I'm like, dude, I'm actually
good.
impressed.
Yeah,
You
man.
just showed us that it's actually not that hard to steal a bunch of fucking diamonds in the
Lifestyles of
gym.
the rich and the famous, man. I mean, where do you think those people got those gems? You think they got those gems by being nice? Like,
No, they're probably friends with Good Charlotte,
dude,
man.
I'm telling
Like
you,
that song.
the world is run, and I think has like always been run, but it is now in our time run by like the kid that like was like, no, I wasn't it. I was on timeout. No, okay, time in. I tagged you. Oh no, now I timed out. Oh, well,
Dude,
I'm gonna fight. Like that kid runs everything, right? Like, oh
that
no,
kid
I have
runs
the jewel.
everything.
It's my jewel. My dad gave me the jewel. It's the best. No, it's my jewel. You can't look at it. I'm better than you. Look at my jewel. Like, you know what I
I'm
mean? Like,
better than you because I was raised with money. I mean, that's really just what they think.
yeah, and like,
Yeah.
yeah, the kid that was just being the like biggest asshole. Everyone just like gave in to him or whatever, right? And so then like, I don't know. It is funny, like the musical chairs of like fucking museum pieces and stuff, right? Like when
I
like,
guarantee you, Elon Musk is that kind of person. What do you
yeah,
think?
of
Yeah.
course, yeah. Well, without yeah, it's like his family's like mining money. But I do. It is one of those things where I wonder about.
Like I don't think Zuckerberg's that way.
No, they're all fucking terrible, Mike. Come on. I'm going in a different direction. I'm wondering about like a museum, like when the British Museum, right? Every single thing in the British Museum was taken by the British when they were fucking like pillaging the world, right? But like sometimes they're like, well, yeah, but don't give it back to like, but giving it back to like the government of that country now, it's like it's not theirs either. They're not going to give it to the people. You know what I mean? What do you do with it,
You
Mike?
know,
We should
you know what
steal it.
blows my
You know what I
mind
mean?
is we used to like give statues to other countries. Like we got what The
The
Statue of Liberty
Statue of
is like a
Liberty
gift from France.
from France. Yeah,
Have you seen that statue in Russia? It is insanely big and scary looking.
of
There's
who?
so many
Of
statues in the
Trump?
world that no, I can't remember. What's the giant freaking? I mean, you gotta look it up and put it on the screen.
Giant Ruski statue.
Just giant lady statue in Russia,
All
and
right,
you're just
I'll
like,
look it up. I'm not
my
gonna.
gosh,
All right, I'll look it up later. Oh my God! Should I look it up for real? Is it that? I can.
it's pretty intense.
All
I
right.
think so. I think it's
Gi-
like huge.
I just
It's like
feel
way bigger.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't even. How would you make something like that?
I don't. I I'm not really set up to do a Google. I'm only set up to like pull up videos. I
All right.
apologize.
Well, don't worry about it.
I'm worried
'Cause you're
about it
just
now.
lame. You're lame.
All right. Well, you know, like I thought we were gonna talk
Lame.
about Ocean's 11.
No. Okay. All right. So Ocean's 14. Yeah. I mean, what could they do this time that isn't already been done? It's just the same movie over and over again. I mean, I think we all give Ocean's 12 a pass, but if we're being honest with ourselves, it's the shittiest one because Julia Roberts plays herself.
And we,
Um,
y- yeah, it sure feels they just keep get to tack another thing on, right? Because like Ocean's 13 was like, hey, we're back together and we're not going to do a bad one because we already did a bad one. And then
I already
like,
know what it's going to be.
and then
It's
like,
going to be either AI or quantum computing related. Guaranteed.
like, and then Bernie Mac won't be there. I bet. I mean, some of those other guys have to have died too, right? Or just Bernie Mac? I don't know. Like, I
Well,
don't.
they gotta get another person to join because it's
Yeah, well,
14.
Julia Roberts and Catherine Zeta-Jones are on it. I don't know. It just
I don't think the women. I don't think the women count as
it's
the number
it's
unless it's like Ocean's 8.
it's come for it's like come like full circle, right? The first Ocean's 11, like the one in the 60s, was just like an excuse for like the Rat Pack to hang out with each other, and now we've like gone from like it being like a good like great movie to like we're back to like, oh, it's just an excuse for like rich and famous old guys to hang out with each other, right? Like
Pretty much, yeah.
it's getting made because for the same reason it's all getting made because you know who those people like. It's gonna get watched more likely than like something else, right?
I will say I do like you start seeing articles, and maybe it's honestly. You ever just? I think it's one of those things. Is like when you drive a red car, you start seeing red cars. But like, I feel like after I say something on this podcast, I see it like something come to fruition, and it's because I just said it. I know that, but like I think we talked
Well,
last week about
we're the
how,
Nostradamuses
or
of the
like
internet.
yeah, 6 months before, maybe one of the first episodes, we were talking about how like I'm tired of the prequels, I'm tired of the sequels, I'm tired like it's played out. It's just there's nothing original. And then like what fast forward 6 months, you got like George Lucas who sold Star Wars to Disney. It's like, dude, Hollywood is in disarray right now. They don't know what to do because everybody's afraid to take a risk on anything that doesn't already have like a fan following. Or they're just like they just want to make a movie that's like this movie, and we're like, well, let's just make a sequel to that movie. And you're like, no one's creating anything original, I guess.
Yeah,
Which I think is true.
but like I don't even think but it's the same thing, right? Like no one at Disney wanted to make a bad Star Wars movie, just like no one at Maytag wanted to make a bad washer. But when you make like the minimum viable decision at every fucking level, every goddamn time, only concerned with like shaving a like dollar here and there and rinsing it on the other fucking side, like that's what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? Like, just
What you're saying is, if you were over the age of 50, if you were over the age of 60, and you're in a place to retire, you need to move out the way and let the young new guard
think
take
about
over,
yeah,
and let's see some innovation
and that's
rather
happening with
than
like casting directors
see.
and all this other stuff too, right? Like, why? And then
But
why?
it's happening at just a slowest pace of all time because it's just like everybody. The problem is the longer the people stay in their current positions to gain more money, they just take that money right back out. I don't know how they do it. I can't trace it or explain it, but they just do. It's why the stock market doesn't just go straight up to the right now, and there's no reason it shouldn't because it's been easy. Everybody on the planet basically has a cell phone. and there's an app to invest. Like they're controlling the money flows. There's no way that it's not just all going up and to the right, even with like options and all that shit. I think the amount of people that have just preached to just be like, just never sell, just buy and let it roll. Like, dude, we should be at like S&P 500 should be at like 25,000 of the index right now.
Well, dude,
But instead, it's
again,
just being throttled.
I've
It's like,
said this a million times, and maybe not on this podcast, but like stocks are like, especially now, are like gambling on like the future value of something, right? Like in a base
of a
sense.
speculative thing that
Yeah,
isn't even producing revenue yet.
that can get like traded while you're not like, and then the futures of it can be traded.
Yeah,
And then
that
there
I never
and,
understood futures for that.
and
Yeah, it's
then there
crazy.
are people who can trade early on that, right? You would like, dude, it's the fucking wire, man. The game's fucking rigged, man. We like those little bitches on the chessboard. You know what I mean? Like people are and that's not, and like then you're still like two more layers in before all the people that get are doing insider trading that isn't even insider trading, right? Like, dude, you don't have a fucking chance, right? Like, not a shot unless you just hit it, right? But like, there's no way to, it is gambling now because like you can't innovate through like the chokehold of like capital of these giant companies, right? Like a new idea will get bought or smothered. You could not outlast, like if you had the best new piece of like it's like this is how people want to experience media now on my app. You could not outlast Amazon, Apple, like Microsoft, right? How could you?
Antitrust.
What are you gonna do? They like, yeah,
Antitrust case, if it works, is supposed to when you become too much of a monopoly, they're supposed to break up all
you-
the segments of you that are monopolized, and then that becomes a separate company, and then now you compete. But more often than not, they don't do it
but
right, and
but
then
that but
that they
that,
just
that
people just gain it all again.
but that can't happen because
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
well, like,
so the reality is we're screwed,
yeah,
and
for
what
the
we should all just buy Nvidia. I'm not a financial advisor.
yeah, no, I mean, right, like if there's something,
Probably.
I mean, if there's something that's like outpacing things, right? But kind of the only thing to do, it would seem, would be to like just ride the market and then try and like jump some money from winning buckets to winning buckets, right? And like, but you that's just gambling, right? And then the rest you're just riding the market, which means you're going to end up wherever the market ends up, which will be below the inflation that's inflating on itself. You know what I mean? It's a problem, I think. Maybe. But maybe I'm an idiot. That's also true. I am an idiot.
uh, you're a little
Everything's
bit of an
fine.
idiot.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine, and things are
I
great.
think what it is, I think really what you're trying to say is like, if you were to just put all your money on the S&P 500 over time, like yes, it would outpace inflation, on the average inflation. Would it outpace all of inflation of all time? No, probably not. But no one ever talks about that. Would it also, like, if let's say that on average it keeps going up at the rate it has, which is like I think 10 to 20% a year. Um, that's not guaranteed, but there's always like something that like dark pool trading, they just like come in and
Well,
fucking
it just
yanks that shit down. Like every now and then they have to,
well
because if it gets too hot, they have to do it.
it
And
seems
then they say it's a free market economy, but the reality is there's no way it could be if there's dark pool trading going on. So it's like Robinhood, the app that everybody that like democratizes it for everyone, is actually not doing that because their biggest like partner is Citadel, and their payment for order flow is basically how, from my understanding, how it works. If like you own a Bloomberg terminal, you pay like however many millions of years to be directly wired in to whatever
Yeah.
the stock market. So your trade goes in first before everybody else. But everybody on Robinhood doesn't work like that. It is to pay for order flow. And sometimes your order, like it says it went in, but then it doesn't actually go in. And you can actually monitor the dark pool volume, which is where trades go on how they regulate and fucking cook the stock market to their liking.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you could feel it, and of course, this would. Everyone just needs to like use their brain and move some decimal points and just think about it, right? And you're just like I feel like there were a couple of times like using Robinhood when it was like I don't know, I'd lose all of my like gain and like you'd be like sell. They're like we can't sell right now. All right,
Yeah,
now
they're
we
just like,
sold.
we're
Like
doing
you know,
scheduled maintenance. Yeah.
yeah, like
Or would they halt the stock because it's like
it,
actually
there
too many people
there
are buying it?
it's like one of those things.
There's no such thing as a free lunch, is what it is.
There's so many like the dice are weighted and the cards are weighted and like there's so many gimmicks you can't like if you're just here and you're like
Dude,
I'm
gambling sites
outpaced
aren't paying out. There's been people who hit it millions off
dude
like a
I don't
4-bet parlay, and they're like, "No, that was a mistake. You didn't actually win."
dude
People are suing the shit out of us right now, and most people aren't going to be able to pay the legal fees to win that case.
no yeah
But they will give you another $500 free to gamble again.
yeah because it's an addiction and like I don't know I don't call me an old fuddy dud Mike but I don't fucking trust
Care?
this shit. No, it's
Nobody
fine.
does.
Like, but everyone's using
There's no
everyone's
alternative. Is my
using. I
point.
don't know anyone who's not using like a gambling app or like a micro trade app or something. Everyone's using this stuff.
Makes me think we should bet on like gambling apps. They're probably undervalued because I agree. Everybody's using them. I mean, 65-year-olds I know use them that I work with.
Yeah, man. Like, but like, is is there is there a fundamental difference? Is like what I'm asking you.
The only fundamental difference is if you
Like
can bet.
where you're
The only way
tapping
to
on the
make it,
screen, the
I know. So
interface.
I'm saying the only fundamental difference that I can say, at least about the stock market, is if you can guess where the money's gonna be next. It's not like it's kind of like milk, like you say. There's only so much milk that people can drink. There's only so much milk being consumed at one time. There's only at any given time, unless they're printing money or taking it, but they're printing or taking it away. There's only so much money available out there. So it's kind of like that theory. It's like, but if you can bet where people are going to put their money in next, and when I say people, like huge hedge fund people, like that's when you make your money by stealing other people's money.
Yeah.
But it only happens when well, usually the fundamentals of a company, when I say fundamentals, it means they're creating revenues and building share value for their shareholders, which means they're making money.
Yeah.
And if you can get that, time that, which they always tell you, notice how they ever said, don't time the market. It's time in the market. And you're like, but all the super rich billionaires time it and then pick stocks that they think are going to, based off
Well,
whatever reason,
well,
and
yeah.
then they get fucking rich.
This is the thing people talk about. Like, well, I was trading this at that and this at this other thing, and I think about it when people talk about like analytics of things as well. It's like you got to understand at what uh, on what time scale to look at what metric, right? And a lot of times people are like, well, look, it's all the way up. God, I bought it here and now it's there or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but that usually is either like a fabrication of like, well, that was so much time or it was like no time, right? It's either like, well, you held it through a bunch of stuff that went great. And it's like, oh, you just had that and held it and was great. But so often it's like, yeah, I bought it right before it went up. And it's like, yeah, that's the only way you can make money. You can't like hold something for a long time and have it make money.
The days of that are done.
Like
I
what
mean,
I'm saying is
you might as well just buy
when we
any
can
company in the top 100.
you can look it up, right? And someone's like, what I would do is go back and buy Apple stock in whatever year. And I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
so
what you should have done is go back and buy Apple stock in this year, pull it out, do whatever the fuck you wanted with that money for 10 years, go back, buy Apple stock again, sell your apples. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's the confirmation bias of like, it's the same thing with people's 401ks and stuff. It's like, yeah, it better be, hopefully it's up. I mean, it's always up now, right? So that's good. That'll never end.
Well, listeners, it's been great talking to you.
Listeners, it's 11:45 where you are.
Yeah, like and subscribe, share, and review, do whatever you got to do. Thank you for listening. EconomyAtNothing.com, EconomyAtNothing at Patreon.com. Please donate. Mike's still unemployed. I really want to get out of the rat race, so anything will help. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks everyone. Bye. Oh, whoops.